and they had arranged to get on a sailboat in Newport and sail to Tahiti in the South Seas. And we didn't know about that. They were going to go someplace, but we didn't know where. And this was 6 months before I left.
Okay.
And so it was just a mystery. They had disappeared. And, you know, in those days, to write a postcard from Tahiti, you know, you never knew when it might come home. So, so there was no mail, and of course there was no internet or any of that other stuff. So they just disappeared. We didn't know where they were. But we thought they had gone on a boat to the South Seas. So 𝐂𝐻𝐃 had he had written a card to General Delivery, Papeete, thinking that Peanuts might be there, and said, Metz is on his way. But he didn't know, and I didn't know how I was going to get there, because I left, and 𝐂𝐻𝐃 knew I was going to go to Panama, but we didn't know if there was a ship coming. Everything was unknown. So I get there to Panama. I spent, I think, about 3 weeks in Panama. I lived in a whorehouse, and those are the best places to live because they always have extra rooms, and you could get those cheaper than staying in a hotel.
Okay.
And it didn't even you were sleeping with all the girls, but you had that option.
Yeah.
But it was more fun just being around where things was happening instead of paying. In those days, a hotel room was probably $30 or $40.
Wow.
But when you only have $2,200, you know, you're not staying in a hotel. At least I wasn't. So anyway, I just stayed there till the ship came in, got on that, went to Tahiti, signed off. And so here we dock at 6 in the morning. Sun's just coming up. And Peanuts, on this other podcast that we did, I think I told you that he talked like he was an airline pilot, and he would do the SEAL call. So when he would see on the street or at the beach and say, hey, Dick, how you doing? He'd go, And so we're tying up in Papeete, and it's boat day. There's hundreds of people there, girls and guys, and just the local citizenry seeing a boat come. It was a big deal because boats didn't go there, and there's no airport. So in this crowd, lines are going down, and I hear, and I'm looking around because I had to be Peanuts, and standing on a 55-gallon oil drum against a warehouse, I see him over there. And I couldn't believe it. I'm waving and shouting, and he sees me because he didn't know I was on that ship. There's no way he could have known. But 𝐂𝐻𝐃 told him I was on my way. So I think he came, every time a ship came in, he'd probably come by. So he knows. I have a picture, it's in the book, with Peanuts after his SEAL call. He grabs the mayor of Papeete and the police chief because they're setting up a table at the bottom of the gangplank to, well, you know, anybody that's coming off. Well, I was the only one that was coming off because the rest of them are going troops. And so I had the visa, and they had to set up and stamp my visa and check that all out. So they're setting up a table, and all of a sudden I hear on the microphone in broken English, French accent, Monsieur Metz, Monsieur Metz, down the gangplank. You're the only one coming off. Now, there was officers that were going to go off and buy food and water and organize stuff. So other guys were coming and going, but I was the only passenger. And so Peanuts is sitting at the table with the police chief and the mayor, and I give them my passport, and they stamp my visa, and Peanuts says, come on, I'll get you. So Quinn's bar, the most famous bar in the South Seas, is right there on the quay at the harbor. Well, there's no harbor. It's just a big dock. And so he said, you gotta go to Quinn's. And so we go into Quinn's, and it's 6 in the morning, and the girls are dancing, they're topless, and this is how my mind, I had envisioned everything. So we're having beers, and, you know, Quinn's is great, and I got a little rucksack is all I had. And he said, you got to come over, I'll get you a room at the Stewart Hotel. And, you know, it's like $5 a night or something. So we go over there, and I check into the room, and, you know, we go back to Quinn's, leave my rucksack there. So we spent the day in Quinn's, and I don't know how much detail you want me to go talk about the trip in general, because I can talk details about Tahiti and all these things, you know,